Okay, systems test review number 1 says Homer sells tickets for admission to your school play and collects a total of $104. Admission prices are $6 for adults, which is your X, so adults is X, $4 for children, which is Y, so children are Y, and he sold 21 tickets total. So here's another total. I want you to realize we have two totals, and our total is always what they equal. So 1 equals 104, and 1 equals 21. And I want you to remember money goes with money goes with money. So money, money, money all have to be in the same equation. Well, $6 per adult plus $4 per child equals money. Money, money, money. And then I know 21 tickets total. Well, I don't know how it's separated, but I know that X stands for my adult tickets, so the number of adults. And Y stands for number of children. And if I have a total of 21 sold, I know the number of adults plus the number of children is 21. So X plus Y. So therefore my answer is C. This has X plus Y equals, or 6X plus 4Y is 21. So remember, money has to go with money has to go with money. Okay. And we weren't taking away $4 per child. We were adding $4 per child. Okay. So knowing that, let's look at number 2. Number 2 wants to know the answer to the actual thing. So the first one we were setting up the equations. The second one we have to find the answer. So there are 2 ways to do this. We can do elimination. And then we could also solve for Y. I'm going to go back and forth. So I'm going to do some with elimination and I'm going to do some with solving for Y. So on this one, I'm going to solve for Y. You can do elimination. It works just as simple on this one as solving for Y. So both of them work. I'm going to start with this equation. So I have X plus Y equals 21. And remember, there's 2 steps to solving for Y. We have to move our X and divide by Y, what's in front of Y, our coefficient. So I'm going to do minus X. Now these don't combine because this doesn't have an X and this does, but there's no number in front of Y, so I'm done. I have Y equals 21 minus X. Now my other equation is 6X plus 4Y equals 104. So move my X minus 6X minus 6X. Ooh, it's kind of cut off. And then I have to divide everything by 4. Now, I want you to realize my calculator does not care if we simplify, so we're going to lazy solve. We have Y equals 104 over 4 minus 6X over 4. So there's my 2 Y equals equations. So I'm going to come to my calculator, and I'm going to type them in. So I have Y equals, 21 minus X. And then I have Y equals 104 over 4 minus 6 over 4x. Okay, and I have to find where they touch. So I don't see them. Zoom out, and here's where they touch. So my answer is 10, 11. So knowing that, I wrote it down. So my answer is 10, 11. But I have to realize that I don't know 10 adults or 11 adults, 10 children, 11 children. I need to figure out which one's which we wrote down here, which is why that's so important. I do know C and D are wrong because those do not have a 10 or 11. So looking here, I know that X, comma, Y is my answer, and X is adults. So I have 10 adults, so A is my answer. 10 adults, 11 children. Okay. Looking at number 3, okay, I see that I have one of them is already solved for Y. So this could be my substitute equation, but I can also solve them both for Y. So remember, I told you I was going to do both. I'm going to solve this one for Y as well because this one's already solved for Y. So I can already type this on my calculator. However, my calculator makes me put Y equals first. So I don't change anything. It's all still the same. I just moved the Y equals to the other side. Here, I have to solve for Y. So I have 5X plus 4Y equals negative 14. So remember, move my X, divide by Y. So minus 5X minus 5X, and divide everything by what's in front of Y, which is 4. And again, my calculator doesn't care if I simplify, so my second equation is Y equals negative 14 over 4 minus 5 over 4x. So back to my calculator. And I have Y equals negative 7x minus 15. And then I have Y equals negative 14 over 4 minus 5 over 4x. And again, I have to find where they touch so I can see it already. It's negative 2, negative 1. which when I look at my answer choices is A. This was my work for my other problem. Okay, so let's look at number 4. So number 4, it wants us to find the equation and it wants us to define our variables. So remember, that means put words here, not numbers. So it says Leo's limo charges 50 cents per mile plus a cleaning fee of $25. Rachel's rides charges 75 cents per mile with a $10 cleaning fee. Which of the following is the most appropriate assignments of variables? Well, I want you to realize we remember the word per tells me y per x. Sorry, I didn't bring my colored pens with me, so all I have is blue. So y per x. So I know x is miles. And y is not 50 cents, but 50 cents is money. So it's our money. Okay, so knowing that, we have to write our equation. We have Leo's limos, and he charges 50 cents per mile. Remember, each, every, and per tells me where I put my x, plus a cleaning fee of $25. Well, you only pay that once. So I know Leo's limos is 50 cents x plus 25. Here's Leo's limos, 50 cents x plus 25. That's not 50 cents x plus 25. Now this is backwards. Remember, it was 50 cents per, and the cleaning fee was only once, so we don't even have to keep going. We know A is our answer. Now, I want you to realize that number 5 is asking which one of these is true, so I need to know what is my answer. Well, these are y equals equations, so this is calculator. We're going to go straight to our calculator, and we're going to type them both in, because they're already y equals. I don't even have to solve. Y equals 0.50x plus 25. And then y equals 0.75x plus 10. And I need to see where they touch, which I don't see, so I'm going to zoom out and over, and I see they touch at 60.55. So I'm going to write that down and then look at my paper. So I know this is my answer. Well, I see 55, 60, 60, 55, 20, 30, 10, 25. So those are not it. But again, we have to go back. X is my miles. So 60 miles. Here's 60 miles. This is 55, so that had it backwards. B is my answer because Y is my money, so $55. Okay, so let's look at the next one. Number 6. It says Kyle wants to use linear combination method to solve the following system. Well, and it says, which of the following steps should Kyle do first? Well, I want you to realize linear combination is when we have to set it up as addition, and we have to have a zero pair. 3 and 7 are not a zero pair. 3 and 7 do not cancel each other. 2 and 1 are not a zero pair. 2 and 1 do not cancel each other. So we have to create a zero pair. 3 cannot turn into 7, but 1 can turn into 2. And how do we cancel a 2y? We need a negative 2y. So I'm going to multiply by negative 2, because negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Well, when I go through and look at my answer choices, it says add the two equations. We can't do that yet because we did not have a zero pair. We're never going to subtract. We're always going to add. It says multiply both sides of the second equation by positive 2, which would turn this into positive 2, but two positives do not cancel, which is why D is our answer, multiplying by negative 2. Okay, and then the second part of this is saying, so what's your answer? So let's solve, and this time we are going to use elimination. However, if you would rather, you could solve for y like we did on the first couple problems. So I'm going to rewrite that first equation, 3x plus 2y equals 16, because we weren't changing that one. However, I need to distribute here. So negative 2 times 7 is negative 14x. Negative 2 times 1y is negative 2y. And then negative 2 times 19 is negative 38. So knowing that, I'm here. I have my two equations, and I have a zero pair. So now I can set it up as addition or combination. So 3 plus negative 14 is negative 11x. Here, these cancel. 16 plus negative 38 is negative 22. So now I solve negative 11x equals negative 22. And the way I do that is I'm going to divide both sides by negative 11. You're good. And I get x equals positive 2. Well, if I go and look at my answers, I see that these are both negative 2's. So I know I'm between C or D because these both have x as positive 2. And remember, we pick an equation, doesn't matter which one, to plug that 2 in. I'm going to pick the second one. So I have 7x plus y equals 19. And I know x equals 2. So I'm going to rewrite this without x, take out my x, and I'm going to sub in 2. Well, that's 14 plus y equals 19. So minus 14, and I get y equals 5. So my answer is D. Okay. Now we can look at number 7. Actually, before we do number 7, I'm going to show you that you can check your work. So we know that I have 3x plus 2y equals 16, so we can plug it in. We know that x is 2, so 3 instead of x, we're going to type 2 plus 2 times, not x, sorry, 2 times y, we said is 5, should equal 16, and it does. See how it equals 16 here, equals 16 here. Let me type it in the other one. 7 times x is 2 plus, not x, sorry, 2, plus y, well, we said y is 5, should equal 19, and it does. Here's 19, here's 19, so I know D is my answer. We can check our work on our own. Okay, so look at number 7. It says what is the solution to the system of linear equations below? So again, anytime it's asking for this solution to the system, you could solve for y and type this in your calculator. However, here I'm going to do linear combination because it's already set up. I have a 0 pair, so I'm going to set it up as addition. I know 4x plus x is 5x. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0, so my y is zeroed out, which is what I need. Bring down my equal sign. 20 plus negative 5 is 15. And now I have to solve for x, so divide both sides by 5, and I get x equals 3. Well, this is x is negative 4, this x is 20, this is x is 3, so this is my answer. I know it's not no solution because remember, no solution or infinite solutions is when my x and my y cancel. My x did not cancel here. Okay, let's look at number 8. So number 8 tells me which two systems can be used to find the solution to the system of equations modeled by the graph. So I know there's 2 answers here. I'm going to circle 2 of them. I'm going to start by finding the y equals equations because I can do that from the graph. I could also use plus sign table if we struggle with that. So I want you to realize I know that I need to find m and b for both lines. So b here is 4, and I know it's going down from left to right, so it's going to be negative, and I'm going down 1, right 1. Well, 1 over 1 is 1, so I have negative 1 for my slope. So that equation is y equals negative 1x plus 4, which can also be written y equals negative x plus 4. Well, if I look through my answers, this is positive x plus 4, so a is not it. This has negative x plus 4. This has negative x plus 4. Now my other equation, this one, I see b is positive 2. Well, which if you notice, this has b is negative 2, this has b is positive 2, so I don't even have to find my slope. I know c is my answer. However, I'm going up 1, right 1, so it's 1 over 1, which is y. So y equals x plus 2, or 1x plus 2. Now, the other 2 answer choices, because it says I have 2 systems, so there's one of them. I need to find the other one. Well, they're both in standard form. Standard form is when x and y are on the same side. So I can take this first equation, y equals negative x plus 4, and I need to get x on the same side as y. How do I move x to the other side? I'm going to do the opposite. It's negative x, so opposite is positive x. And I want you to realize this is a positive y, so I have positive x plus y equals 4. Well, this doesn't have that. This one does, so E is my other answer. Okay, so let's look at number 9. Alexandria finds that she can give 3 haircuts and 2 hair dries in 315 minutes. Giving 4 hair dries and 2 haircuts, it takes 450 minutes. Which system of equations represents a situation where x is the number of haircuts, so x equals number of haircuts, and y equals number of hair dyes, sorry. Okay, so knowing that, every time I see the word haircut, I'm going to put an x, and hair dyes is y. Again, hair dyes is y, and haircuts is x. So my first equation is 3 haircuts plus 2 hair dyes is 315 minutes. The next one is 4 hair dyes and 2 haircuts, I'm putting it in order, is 450 minutes. So be super careful with that. So I have 3x plus 2y equals 315. 3x plus 2y is 315. 3x plus 2y, not it. 2x, nope. So 3x plus 2y is 315. So I'm between these two. And I have 2x because x is haircuts and it says 2 haircuts. So 2x, this has 4x. So D is my answer. Okay, let's look at number 10. 10 says, what is the solution to the system of equations below? So right away, I see that it is both in standard form, so I can use elimination. However, I don't have a zero pair. So this is technically 1, this is 4. So remember, we start with our smallest. Can 1 turn into 2? Yes, by multiplying by 2. And it's already negative, because to cancel a positive 2, I need a negative 2. So I'm going to multiply by 2. I'm going to rewrite that first equation. And I'm going to distribute here. So 2 times negative 1x is negative 2x. 2 times negative 4y is negative 8y. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. And now I have a zero pair. So I can set it up as addition. Well, that zeroes out. And my 8's also zero out, my y. So I get 0 equals, well, 6 plus negative 6 is 0. 0 equals 0. My x and y is canceled. So I know it's a special case. It's not going to have a solution like that. So 0 equals 0 is true. So it's going to be infinitely many solutions. Now, if it was 0 equals 12, it would be no solution. So remember, true is infinite solutions, false is no solution. Now, if you would rather solve for y on these and type it in your calculator, you would get the single line. So it would look like the same line right on top of each other, and that's why you would know that it's infinitely many solutions. Okay, look at number 11. I'm going to solve for y on number 11 because one of them's already solved for y, and the other one is not, but I have graphs. Anytime I have graphs, I'm going to solve for y. So I'm going to move my x minus 2x minus 2x and divide by y. Well, I have a negative. You can't lose that negative. So we're going to put a negative 1 and divide everything by negative 1. And I get y equals positive 4 plus 2x, or you could have done lazy solving and left it just like that. So I'm going to type this in my calculator. So I have y equals 4 plus 2x. Then I have y equals negative 1/5 x minus 2/5. And I need to find where they touch. So I'm going to click home. And so this is what it looks like. So it looks like my answer is negative 2, 0. And if I look at my graphs, the only one that has, so negative 2 zeros here, 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 here. The only one that touches that is B. And again, my answer was negative 2, 0. Okay, so let's look at number 12. What is the best estimation of the solution to the system of the equation? So estimate means we're guessing. It's not a pretty point, so I want you to see that my x is in between 4 and 5. Well, in between 4 and 5 is not those numbers, so I know it's B. 4.5 is between 4 and 5. If I look at my height, it's between 5 and 6, which is 5.5. Okay, looking at 13, it says the line graphed represents the first of two equations in a system. If the second line passes through the points 3, negative 3, so 3, negative 3, which is already plotted, and 0, 2, which is also already plotted, what statements is true? Well, if I graphed that second line, it's right on top of the first line, which means they touch everywhere. So no solution is when they never touch. Infinite solutions, well, they touch an infinite amount of times, so that is my answer. So remember, when it's the same line, it's infinite solutions. Okay, look at number 14. 14 is when we have tables and we are looking for their solution. So some values for two linear equations are shown in the tables. What is the solution to the system? Remember, it's when their x and their y match. So we have to look at these points. So I have 5, negative 3, but this one does not have 5, negative 3. It has 5, positive 3. Here we have 1, 1. I don't even see that here, so that's not it. 3, negative 1, 3, negative 1. So look, they both have 3, negative 1. If I look at 0, 2, that one has it, but I don't see that here, so that's not my answer. Okay, number 15 says Melissa sells tickets for admission to the water park and collects a total of $3.55. Admission prices for adults are $15 and $10 for children. She sold 50 tickets total. Remember, my two totals are going to be what my two equations equal. What system can be used to find the number of adult tickets, A, and the number of children tickets, C, that were sold? Remember, money goes with money goes with money. So 15 and 10 are money, so they need to go with 355. And it was 15 per adult, and we said A for adults, so 15 per adult plus 10 per child. So I know 15A plus 10C equals 355, not this one. 15A, this one has 15C, so that one's wrong. 15A plus 10C, 15A plus 10C, again, wrong. So C is my only answer, and I know that A represents the number of adult tickets plus number of child tickets is a total of 50. Okay, 16 says how many solutions to the system how many solutions? Well, they never touch. Do they touch? No, so it's no solution. Okay, look at number 17. Now this one's going to be a little more tricky. We are going to use our plus sign table. This is kind of like number 8, this one, except it's not asking for the y equals equations, but to find our standard form, we have to find our y equals first. So I'm going to use plus sign table, and I'm going to type 2 points off of this graph. So when I look super close, I see there's a point plotted at 0, 2, 1, 2, 3, 0, 3. The table's kind of hard to read, or the graph, sorry. And then I see I have a point at 1, 5. Yeah. Remember, you only need 2 points to come up with your linear equation. So I'm going to do y1 squiggle mx1 plus b. And I see that I get y equals m is 2. So I get 2x plus b is 3. Okay, and then I'm going to redo it. I don't even have to erase this. We're just going to change the numbers here. And I need to put 2 numbers out of this table. So I have -2, 13. And then I have -1, 10. Okay, so again, this one gives me y equals, I have -3 for m, x comes behind my m, +7 for my y-intercept. Okay, so that is what I have for my 2 y equals equations. Well, again, remember, to put it in standard form like these, I need to move my x. So how do I move this x? I'm going to do -2x, +y. So that gives me -2x plus y equals 3. Here, I'm going to do +3x plus 3x, and I have 3x plus y equals 7. Now, I don't know if you remember, but x, your a term, is not allowed to have a negative. So we have to multiply this whole thing by -1. However, I could just pay attention here. 3x plus y equals 7. 3x plus y equals 7. This one does not have that. 3x plus y equals 7. This one does not have that. So at least we're down to 2. Well, I have to multiply everything by -1. And even if we just look at our numbers, we have a 2, a 1, and a 3. 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3. So C has to be my answer. But if I multiply, I get +2x minus y equals -3, which does match perfectly. Okay, you could also solve all of these for y. That's just a lot of work, but that's also an option. Okay, last page, we have number 18. It says John has a total of 25 quarters and dimes. So again, that's a total. The amount of money he has is $5.65. So that's also another total. So we have equals 25 and equals 565. It says what system of models is a scenario. Well, what I want you to realize is we know the cost of quarters and dimes because money goes with money goes with money. This is my money. Quarters are 25 cents and dimes are 10 cents. So I know 25 cents per quarter plus 10 cents per dime equals 565. And then I know that quarters plus dimes together is a total of 25 coins. So here's my 2 equations. So Q plus D equals 25. So I can cross off B and C. And then I know 25 cents per quarter. So 25 cents per quarter, 10 cents per dime. This has 10 cents per quarter, so that one's wrong. A is my answer. Okay, number 19. The last substitution problem I solved for y. Here, this one's x equals, so I'm not going to do solve for y. I'm going to show y'all substitution. So I want you to realize that x equals 2y plus 11, so this is my sub-equation. So I need to rewrite the other equation without x. I need to take out the x. So I have -7, take out x, minus 2y equals -13. And I need to plug in my sub for x, which is 2y plus 11. Well, I don't even have to solve, so I should have been paying attention. It just says which of the following is corrected, subbed correctly. So -7 times 2y, which looks like D. Don't even need to keep going. Okay, number 20. We've done a couple of these. There's multiple ways to do it. I'm going to show you 2 different ways. First things first, I'm going to solve for y. So I already have this one as y equals. It tells me this one's graphed, but if I don't want to graph this one, I can solve for y. So I'm going to do -75x and divide by y. So divide by 100. And we're going to lazy solve, so we're not going to simplify. So I have y equals 1315.50 over 100 minus 75 divided 100 x. And then my other equation is given to me, y equals 0.50x. And I just need to see where they touch. I see they touch at 10. So I see this is where they touch. And I know it's asking me, second equation, what is the price of a student ticket? So student tickets is y. So I need my y, which is 5.26 or 5.25. Now I want you to realize if I were to have graphed this, this is just y equals 1/2 x. So I can go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. And again, we're looking for the y, which is between 5 and 6, and my only option is B. So those are the 2 different ways to solve this one. Okay, look at number 21. Almost done. Amy wants to solve the system below by using linear combination. What should she multiply the first equation by if she wants to eliminate the y's? So I want to eliminate the y, so I'm only looking here. Well, if I'm multiplying my first equation, what is the 0 pair to -9y? Would be positive 9y. It's already positive, so I would just multiply by 9. Okay, 22 says Joe and Steve are saving money. Joe starts with 105 and saves 5 per week. Steve starts with $5 and saves 15 per week. How many weeks do they have the same amount of money? Well, these are y equals equations because I only have one unknown. So y equals, so this is for Joe. Joe starts with $105 and saves, so adds $5 per week. Okay, Steve starts with $5 and adds 15 per week. Now, I want you to remember it's y per x. So y per x, so x is my number of weeks, and y is my money. It's not $5, it's just money. And then it's a calculated problem. So if I have y equals 105 plus 5x, and then y equals 5 plus 15x, I need to see where they touch. Somewhere way up here, and my answer is 10/155. So I want you to realize my answer choices say weeks. So I'm looking for how many weeks. Weeks, we said, is our x. X is 10. So 10 weeks is my answer. Okay, good luck on your test. Have a good night.